Big Ten. The big game was that top 10 showdown and one of the three heavyweight bouts, so to speak, in the Big Ten East. Ohio State over Penn State, 20-12. You could talk about Marvin Harrison and how incredible he was. You can talk about the Ohio State defense, how incredible they were. You could talk about how much Penn State struggled on third down in this game, just one of 16 on third down. They did get that touchdown late, but this game kind of felt over about midway
Oh
through the
yeah.
fourth quarter with the way that Ohio State defense was playing.
Yeah, I mean, this was an interesting game. I mean, there was so much build up and so much question, is this the year Penn State's ready to take that next step?
Sure.
And honestly, I felt like talent-wise, they had equal talent to Ohio State across the board, except for one spot, and that's at wide receiver. And Ohio State was playing without Ibuka, so they only had Marvin Harrison Jr. and Cade Stover were the top two targets. But Marvin Harrison, offensively was the difference in the game. With what he did, 11 catches, 162 yards, and a touchdown in 2 years. He took over the game last year in State College in the fourth quarter, had 10 catches. So in 2 games against Penn State, 21 catches, right? I mean, just dominating the football game. But that being said, Penn State's defense played well enough to win the game.
Yep.
I mean, they held the rest of the offense in check. Ohio State did not run the ball great. Neither did Penn State. Both defenses played great. It was a field position game. I was very, very surprised in the fourth quarter with about 7.5 minutes left in the game. And Penn State had a 4th and 3 in their own territory. And James Franklin elected to go for it rather than punt and continue to play field position. And they didn't convert. Of course, they hadn't converted any third downs either. At one point, they were 0 for 15 on third down. Finished with 1 conversion in that last touchdown drive at the end. But, that gave Ohio State a short field. They were able to take advantage of that and score a touchdown. And once it became a 2-score game, the way these defenses were playing, it was over. And so credit to Ohio State. Penn State's got some work to do on offense. They are not creating explosive plays either in the run game or the pass game. And it's hard to win big games like this against good defenses if you don't have explosive plays. If you don't get chunk plays, either by throwing it or running it, it's very, very difficult to win big-time games.
So the one part about offensively from Penn State that was a little surprising to me, I feel like they've got 2 of the best running backs in the entire country in Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. And they combined for 18 carries between the 2 of them. 18. And I understand that part of that is that the possessions were short and not converting on third downs, not extending possessions. You're not getting a lot of first down or second down runs, but they each only had 1 catch. So you're telling me that each of them had 10 touches the entire game. To me, that's their best line of attack. And in theory, you're talking about a guy on the left side of their line, the left tackle in Olu Fashanu, that people are considering to be the best left tackle in all of college football and arguably the first offensive lineman that's going to be taking the NFL draft. You're not playing to that strength necessarily. You're putting an inexperienced first-year starting quarterback in a position to go out against one of the best defenses that we've seen in all of college football this year and essentially beat them in Columbus. It's a lot of wishful thinking and hoping that Drew Aller is going to be your savior when he has never played in an environment quite like this before.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they may have abandoned the run too soon or not stayed committed to it long enough, knowing that was, they've got 2 high caliber guys. And there were some plays, even on their first field goal drive, they ripped off a couple runs in back-to-back plays. And the next play in the red zone, they went to pass and, had a loss of yardage play. So, it became evident to me during that game too, that if they were going to have success against Ohio State's front, it was going to be run blocking more so than pass blocking. The Ohio State front 4 really put pressure on Drew Aller, made the pocket uncomfortable for him. His receivers weren't getting a lot of separation. And, that you're right. That was a lot to ask of that young quarterback, in his first start of that magnitude or in a game of that magnitude. And it didn't go well for him.
Good news for Penn State. They get another opportunity to slay a Goliath. They've got Michigan in a couple weeks. They got Maryland as well on the road in a couple weeks. So a couple more opportunities for the Nittany Lions to get themselves back on track. They still have a pathway to the Big Ten East. They're just going to have to slay a massive giant, which we'll get to in a second.